Hi, this is Eva for Once Upon a Timeline. Welcome to Midnight Mandela. How is everybody doing tonight? It's been a pretty good week for me. I had that expo on Saturday, so that was fun. And not too many Mandelas this week. It's been kind of quiet. There's been some personal Mandelas, but that's about it. A few. I do have a few. And I had a good time at the show. And I want to ask her a few questions that people ask me before I forget about this. So there was this show, the Errant Expo, which basically had a lot of the like alternate history people speaking. There was, I don't know, there was like 8 speakers or something. There was a bunch, and like Martin Lee Key and a bunch of those kind of guys, and Archaics. So people ask about Archaics. That voice that you hear, that deep voice, that is his real voice. He is not doing anything funny, electronic, changing his voice. He sounds exactly like that. He was walking all around, talking in between his speech and at lunch and outside, and that's him. So, I know it's a little weird, but it's, once you kind of, I don't know, once you kind of see him talking for a while, it just seems natural. So, yes, that is him. That is him. Let's see, what else did I want to say? Oh, I just wanted to, shout out to Martin Leedkey, just because, not that I ever had any issues with him. He seems like a fine person online, but one thing that really came out when he was there speaking and then answering questions is he just comes off as a really nice person, like a really kind person. And I was really impressed by that, because we had some of the people asking questions were pretty strange. And you could just see that he was not judging them. He was patient. He just was a very kind person. So I just wanted to say, you don't really get a feel for people online as much. Sometimes I see people online and I meet them in person. They have a whole different vibe. But Leakey had a different vibe in a very good way. Not that he has a bad vibe normally, but, I was just very impressed by that. Also, Danny was there, and I got a good vibe off of her. Those are the 2 people who got really close to me, too, because they were answering questions for other people. But Leakey's really came out. But Danny, too. I didn't have any bad vibes off of any of them. Most of them were up on the stage, but, it does sometimes happen that I'll be at an event and one of the speakers will just be something that it's just something that's bugging me and I will want to leave. That did not happen at all. So that was cool. All the speakers were very good. Let's see. I think that covered everything. One weird thing, though, that did happen, and I'm not blaming this on any of the speakers because they were all good. Right around lunchtime, there was, like, when I first got there, the energy was really good. But right around lunchtime, there was a weird energy, and I don't know what it was from. I mean, like, it wasn't like the people around were bad or anything, but there was like and I don't know if it was just the group energy that I couldn't handle, or there was like something, or there was like a shift. I almost want to feel it kind of reminded me of a shift, because I was just like, oh, my brain just couldn't settle. I felt really, really antsy. All my body started aching, especially like old injuries. I just felt like super achy. My brain was racing for like no reason. Then I just started, like, the second to last speaker, I started, like, I couldn't keep conscious or something. I was just, like, falling asleep. Now, he was not boring. That last speaker was, the second last speaker was the Gematria guy. And he was a good speaker. And he was really popular. Everybody's like, woo, I don't really know that guy, but a lot of people knew him. And I just felt myself nodding, and I was like, it was just not a normal, like, reaction for me. And like I said, I didn't have any issues with any of them. And I just felt really weird. And then at the end of his speech, I kind of looked up and I looked around, and like 5 or 6 of the women that were in the audience had like put their head on their male, husband, boyfriend, whatever, and were like out, like they fell asleep. And I've never seen that before at any conference that I've been at, that I was just like, it wasn't just me. I mean, this guy only spoke for 20 minutes, so it wasn't like big old long thing. So it was weird because I was like, ugh. So the girl that was sitting next to me was there with her husband, and we had been chit-chatting. And so I put my head up, I looked over her, she was out, her head's on her, and she's all, oh man, I don't know why I couldn't stay awake. And it was coming in waves, it was coming in waves. I don't even know what, I couldn't quite say what it was. Yeah, I look red because this camera is different, and it makes me look red. The old camera made me look green, which was sickly, so I vote for red. Looks better than the green. So anyway, yeah, I've been red for the last couple of shows because of that camera. But it does show me up closer up too, which I like. Okay, so I don't know. I do not know what was going on there, but it went through the last speaker, which was Egan, and I don't feel like it came from either of those two. People were like wiped out during that second to last one though. And then when Egan came, I actually just couldn't stand sitting down anymore, which is not like me. So I just got up and I went to the back of the room and stood, and I did feel a little better over there. I don't know what was going on. I don't know if it was the group energy or what, but I just had to get a little bit away or something. It was weird. It was weird. So a number of people did leave during Egan's speech. I don't know if they were uncomfortable or just because his speech was a little political with the Israeli thing, and some people may not have liked it for that reason, but I don't know. I do not know what was going on there, but it was weird. I did dye my hair, but I dyed it the normal color, but this camera makes it look more red. So it's actually a little less red than this. It's the normal color. After my trip, I realized I can't be with jab people for too long. It makes me sick. I would be surprised if there were a lot of jab people at this conference, though, I have to say. I mean, we're talking people who have been highly distrustful of the pandemic stuff. The whole speaker, like all the speakers, I'd be shocked if many of them were polka-dyed. Maybe a few of the UK people because they didn't have as much choice as us, but so yeah, I don't know. I guess I'm gonna have to go to another event with a lot of people and see if I react the same. I did find quite a number of people standing in the back, and like I said, that after that second guy, there was a surprising number of people just out, I can only guess that the men are not going to want to do that, so they're probably just going to suck it up, but yeah, so it wasn't just me, and I don't know if it's just how life is now, or there was the group energy, but it was strange. I think I'm definitely going to sit in the back next time, though, just to be... David Kent, I do wonder about that because it's San Diego, and I do wonder if there might have been, I really do not know, but, some kind of, like, electronic warfare was used. I would not say it's anybody in the expo, though. I would not say that, but this is San Diego, and they do have distance things that can... this now exists in the reality for decades now that they can do weird stuff. So, and long ago, I went to a conference in San Diego. It was in like the 20 years ago or something, and it was for remote viewing. And the building we were in got hit by a weird electrical thing, which was like the electrical got took out on our block only. And the repair people came, and it was like right outside the building. They said that there had been a power spike that took out that, whatever the, not transformer, but it took out that node that was by our building. So just our area. And that was right when we were going to do the remote viewing. So I've always been a little suspicious. Now, nobody felt ill or anything. It was just the electric was taken out. But, it could be a giant coincidence, right? I don't know. But that's San Diego for you. We're loaded with the military everywhere. We're famous for the military. So, I don't want to say anything because, first of all, I don't want there to be a problem with conferences, and I don't think anybody got hurt, but it did take me, it took me about 24 hours to really recover. I felt like a weird pressure in my head. I forgot about that. There was like a weird pressure here. It wasn't really a headache. It just felt weird. That's the one thing I didn't have. I did not have a headache. Everything else ached, but not my head. But I did feel like a weird, like, pressure. You know, it wasn't even painful. It was just strange. It was like, what? You know, it was just strange. So that was the excitement for Saturday. I did enjoy meeting. Well, I didn't meet them. I'm not gonna run. You know, I'm not that social, so I don't run, go hi. You know, but it was fun seeing everybody and just seeing how they were. Not everybody, but some of those people. They were almost sold out. I believe they had 300 tickets, and I know it was very close to being sold out. And I was kind of laughing because I know they were selling 300 tickets, and when I looked at the allowable number of people inside the building, I just happened to be looking up that location. It was 298, so I think we were over our limit legally, because you've got the tickets, you've got all the speakers, they had security there, you know, volunteers were working, and there were some vendors. I'm pretty sure we were over 298, so like, shh, don't tell anybody. It's over with now, so I don't think they can get us. The energies are strange. Yeah, see, that was the thing. I'm like, I don't know if it was a hard shift or what, you know, and yeah, maybe. You know, it didn't feel like being hypnotized, though, because, first of all, nobody's ever been able to really hypnotize me so I fall asleep. But second of all, it was very painful kind of thing. Like, I don't know. It was just not, like, you know, normal hypnosis. It was pain in a way I can't describe. It's like this weird, achy feeling. Like, I was kind of sitting there going like this, and then my, like, certain joints hurt a lot. And I was like, what the hell? You know, like, my arm felt like it was too heavy for my shoulder. And I kept trying to, like, since when is my arm too heavy for my shoulder? And, you know, I did drink plenty of water. I was totally healthy that morning. I was healthy the first half. I really don't know what it is. Okay, so that was that excitement. Let's see. Did I cover that new road? I'm trying to remember. Did I cover the new road down the street? I don't think I talked about the new road down the street last week. I think that happened this week. Did I cover that last week? Anyway, there's a new road. I'm always talking about my walk and how things change. And, like, about a month ago, I didn't mention it because it's just so many little details, but there's a power pole there, and suddenly there's this barrier to the power pole that didn't used to be there. It's like a old, like, metal. It's obviously ancient, old decrepit pieces of wood holding it up and stuff. That showed up like a month ago. And then just recently, I always walk to this end part where there's this river crossing, and there used to be a driveway there. Yeah, I did cover that. Yeah. Okay, so that was that must have been over 7 days ago. Okay, so the new road going up. I did drive up there and stuff. I didn't really find anything. I'm in a lot of pain. I feel like I got refluxed. I don't know what refluxed is, but yeah, I don't know. So the last shifts, I have not felt pain. That was one thing. Anyways, for those of you that weren't not here last week, there is this road that used to be a driveway is now a road, and it is a road that was further up. And, you know, I've been kind of it's got the name of a road that was further up. It didn't used to be in that spot, though. There were no crossroads that I would normally get to walking before, because I didn't want to walk that far, because it's hilly, you know, so it's fun walking downhill, but you got to pay the piper to go back. So I had learned, you know, do not walk past here unless you really feel energetic that day. But I talked to a couple of people on Retcon, just, typing, and there's been a couple other reports of stuff like that. Just like, you leave and you come back, there's different houses, different roads. And one woman was saying that one of her roads and like houses and stuff on it, just, they went through there and it was there, and then they came back and it was gone. And like this house and this barn and all, and then they're like, it's gone. And then sometime later, they found that it had just moved to another location in town. Like, it was 3 miles away now, way over there. It's the same stuff that used to be near their house, but now it's over there. So it's like, I feel like, like, why move it then? I don't know. It's just weird. So were they cutting out middle parts and then, I don't know. Anyone into comics checks out The Exiles, about grouping jumping from reality to reality. I don't know. I think I want it. Escapism is supposed to be escaping your problems, not having to deal with them. That was the dude, Logan from Decoding Your Reality. Yeah, Logan, that was the second speaker. Now, I'm not going to say the weird feeling started under him, because I did feel it at lunch. And I was like, I was talking to those two next to me. And so I was sitting there going, I really feel like I need to get out of the room for a while. But I had promised to watch their coats and stuff, right? So I'm like, I'm stuck here till they get back. And I'm thinking, why did I promise that? Because I wasn't thinking, so I was stuck there. And then when they came back, I like blasted out of there for 10 minutes. And I did feel kind of a relief when I left the building. So that's another reason why I'm suspicious it wasn't a shift. Because, I mean, you can't just walk away 2 blocks and your shift is gone, So that's one of the suspicious things I have, that it was building related. The other thing is, if it was group energy, a lot of people left at lunch, but I didn't feel like it got easier at lunch. Instead, it was kind of ramping up at lunch. So I think Logan came right after lunch, and then it was Egan, and the lunch had been late. I'm trying to remember if there was another guy in there or not. There might have been one more person, but I do remember feeling it at lunch. So yeah, Logan, I did not know Logan, but I was really impressed with, he's got this stage presence that's very good. He's just very comfortable up there, very smooth, not in a slimy way, just a relaxed way. So he was especially he's young too, so he was an interesting dude. And just so quick, Oh, Flox is short for fluoroquinolone toxicity, an antibiotic. Oh, that sucks. I'm sorry, hopefully it'll get better soon. Okay, see you later, Renee. Are they putting any videos about this on YouTube? About the show? I've been kind of, like the conference, I kind of been watching, but okay, so it was Saturday. We finally made it to Wednesday. The UK people, assuming they left shortly after the conference, would just now be getting back to the UK and stuff. So I don't even know if they left right away. I mean, if I flew all the way to another country, I would probably try to hang out. So, they might be seeing Balboa Park, Tartaria looking buildings in San Diego, or I don't know what they're all going to do, but I do think San Diego is the end of their tour as far as conferences. But so what place is that? So the expo, the conference was in San Diego, where I live, like not right here, but it was just like a half-hour drive. So yeah, don't know. I've been kind of checking. I didn't check Logan's, but I checked some of the other ones, and none of them have put out any content since the expo that I saw, and I haven't checked every last one. Danny was going to go visit her friends in America. Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised. Like I said, if I flew all the way across the pond, you know, I would want to have a lot of activity and trips because, you know, just the cost. Danny from Release the Shackles. I don't know what her last name is. She does Mandela and, you know, just kind of the gamut, conspiracy theory and preppers, survival stuff. And she just, you know, she just goes all over the place with whatever subject comes up that week. I miss Balboa Park. The art gallery there is really cool. You know, last time I went there and they had an interesting looking event. And then it turned out it was going to be like $40 to go in there and look at it. And I was like, no, because it's really going to take me 10 minutes to look at everything. And I'm not paying $40. I'm kind of just feel like it's getting to be a ripoff. So I go to Balboa Park. I walk around. I see the outside. And that's it. Removing the shackles. Okay, removing the shackles. Yes, that's it. I swear it used to be Release the Shackles, and I always forget the new one. But yes, that Danny. The Danny with the long blonde hair. She seemed really nice. What's up with the mysterious goo disease that melts the starfish? That showed up quite some time ago, the melting starfish. Oh, they're all going to go extinct, blah, blah, blah. Of course, somehow they didn't all go extinct, so I think they were saying it was some kind of necrotizing fasciitis that gets, like, starfish. But I just don't listen to the fear porn anymore. They're always saying this stuff, and then guess what? Nothing happens. I mean, nothing that serious like they claim happens. Okay, so let's talk about these vultures. Yeah, that was the thing. Apparently this vulture called Himalayan griffin vulture has these fake eyes, like so they have this bare patches, and so then when they put their neck down, it looks like a big goofy face. Let's just so you can see it. Quit that. So you can kind of see how it looks. Maybe this one will be better actually, because it gives a better view. Doink. I'm so bad at this. Okay, so you can see if you kind of look at it from a distance, it'll look like this is the head, even though that's, I guess, part of the tail or something. And here's the forehead, and those are the two eyes. But really, this is the tail, and this is like the back, and then this is the shoulders, and then the head is just this tiny thing. But I guess the point would be to make the face like look really large if you weren't paying attention. So what's weird though is supposedly they have these on purpose, these fake eyes. So you can see another view of it here where they just have like apparently no fur there. So even from the side, this one here, open link in new tab. Actually, it's pretty impressive. Like, where did it go? I think it's way over here. Here. No. How come that other one didn't load? That was weird. Okay, open link in new tab. There. Oh, I gotta scroll. Got it. Okay, got it. So even from the side, if you kind of look at that, this looks like an eye, and then this whole structure kind of looks like a beak, and then this whole area looks like the top of the head. So even from the side, it kind of looks like there's a giant head here, kind of similar to there, which is interesting. So I think it's interesting. I've never seen this before, number one. It showed up, what, like a week ago? Number two, if you look these up online, it doesn't say much about this. And there's like almost no images of these. Like, if they have fake eyes, shouldn't there be like 700 photos of talking about it and showing the fake eyes? This one was interesting here because I can't tell it. Is that really it? I guess they look like So I used to see this kind of image on the cartoons, and I'd be like, "Oh, ha ha, birds don't really look like that," but they do now. They do look like this when they're walking, um, but no fake eyes. I don't know if it's hidden under there or what. I mean, I'm looking at this going, "What?" So I don't know if he's hiding them, like they can shuffle their feathers over their fake eyes. It kind of looks like they can, because I think if they kind of went like this, then they would hide them. But there's like almost no images at all about these. In fact, this one image has been copied and pasted all over. This one, and this piece here has been copied pasted onto here. It's the exact same image. It's here, here. So do we not have any other images of Himalayan fake eye vulture poses? Like, there's no, all of Google, there's only like one, except for maybe that one side view one could be counted as number 2. Seems just a little weird. I mean, these animals are not supposed to be super rare. I think they were listed as potentially threatened or something, but there's a lot of them. Himalaya, a lot of other places. So, you know, why are there no photos? I have a feeling we will get more of them. And then I went to the wiki, and it doesn't even mention the fake eyes. It doesn't mention the missing shoulder feathers. It doesn't mention anything about that. So, just it's like this stuff is showing up now, and it's so scrambled that it is not even. Reality is not even doing a good job of cobbling this stuff together anymore. It's crazy town. So supposedly it is real, though, because if you look at other images of them, they are kind of missing the fur in their feathers in that spot. I know coral bleaching affecting starfish. So the goo thing for me, that's pretty old. I knew about it before I knew of the Mandela Effects, so that's over 7 years ago. Let's see. Let's see what the latest baloney is on that. The race to stop starfish from melting into goo. See? Here we are, 2014. That's about right for me. All right, I didn't pay. Yeah, but... All right, so let's see what the latest is. Let's see what 2023. Mysterious disease. Didn't pay. Oh, they figured it out in 2014. When its starfish gets sick, its arms pretzel up and white lesions form on the skin. Then they start to deflate. Then the arms fall off. After a few days, they die. Starfish wasting disease. Let's see. The virus, there's... It's a virus. Typically, finding the cause of his disease takes decades or years. Why the virus has emerged now and how the virus dissolves tissue remains open questions. Okay, so they said it was a virus. Mysterious syndrome. The species triumphs over melting disease. In 2018, scientists have announced a remarkable reversal. So it's just going to be a virus that ebbs and comes and goes, it looks like. The species appears to have evolved genetic resistance to a virus decimating it. Alright, so there was a virus. The tougher ones survived. They bred. At least that's the storyline that we are often told. All right, let's see what the official wiki. Oh. Okay, so this disease went backward in time because I do remember it coming in around 2014-ish. But now they're saying, and it was new. It was new then. I'm positive of this. I know they said it was new. And now, the first plague was in 1972. Was the first notable case of star wasting disease. Scientists noticed a rapidly declining population of common starfish. The symptoms were that the starfish became limp and lost limbs. Baloney, there was not a 72 plague of it. Now there was a 78 plague of it. Succumbed to a wasting disease in the Gulf of California. They blamed it on high temperatures. 2013 current plagues. Blah, blah, blah. Okay, so, yeah, it's gone backwards in time, definitely. As of November 2013, no identifiable cause of the disease had been found. All right, well, the 2014 article said it was a virus. So, I don't know, maybe the timeline hasn't decided yet. But yeah, that one's an older one for me. Falkland Island War was about the black goo. Falkland Island War was about the black goo, and they say it spread from that time. I don't remember the island war being... What was that heckin' war? I thought it was the people of the island refused British rule. And so the Brits went there and kicked their butt. Sort of kicked their butt. I don't remember anything about the black goo having to do with it. Are you saying that conspiracy theory said that it came from then? Undeclared war between Argentina and the United Kingdom over 2 British dependent territories in the South Atlantic. So, blah, blah, blah. Argentina invaded and, occupied the Falkland Islands, followed by the invasion of South Georgia. Diplomatic relations were restored in 1989. 82. Yeah, I wasn't that old then, so I have to admit that my memories of that were a bit fuzzy. So if there was any major Mandelas in that, I don't think I would remember. But it seems they're not talking about the goo. It was some kind of territorial dispute. Has anybody heard about the... I'm assuming you mean Niger War. Before that, they were counting the days for invasion in that country, and now nothing. I don't know anything about a Niger War, so maybe that's good that you escaped that timeline. The starfish and the coral reed. Well, the starfish thing was long before the Fukushima thing for me. So, and now they say it goes back to, what did I say, the 70s or something, which is total baloney. I read about the black goo and the Falkland Islands Wars. Wait, what was the black goo? So the starfish, they die, but I don't remember it being black goo. I'm not sure what we even mean by the black goo. Okay, so... Okay, so... Yeah, I just thought it was weird that this bird has this weird thing that would be very photogenic, and there's, like, no photos. I'm sure that those photos will show. Give it another 6 months or so, and there'll probably be a bunch. But the creature has just showed in the timeline, so it's not well represented yet. Okay, I ran into this when I was kind of looking up other stuff, and it was just one of those animal things where I just kept stumbling on it. So apparently there's spiny rats, and they look like normal rats, but they don't have fur. They have spines. Now, a few of them have fur, but there's like 30 kinds or something. All of these kinds are all spiny rats. South America, Central America, etc. There's a whole bunch of them. So they're called like armor on them. They're like spines, but they look like rats. It looks like hair, but it's actually spines. I've never heard of this spiny rats, but there's dozens of types. The other thing about spiny rats is their tail can fall off. Apparently easy. Like if you can't be dangling them by their tail because boops, they're on there weekly and they pop off easy. And it's apparently supposedly a strategy to escape predators is that the tail falls off. Now what's interesting is the tail does not currently, according to them, grow back. So then it'll be tailless for the rest of its life, which would kind of suck, so if they don't grab them by the tail. Okay, then I was kind of like looking into these because a lot of these new things do have weird stuff, and I can't always find it. I didn't find it on the wiki, but then I kind of, when I was doing Google searches, I found out that like some of the spiny rats do not have, like the males do not have a Y chromosome. And so there was a big question, like, how come they're male if they don't have a Y chromosome? They just have, like, an X, like one X. And then they're like, well, okay, we researched this and we finally figured out that the X chromosome had, like, a little piece of stuff that operated like a Y chromosome, okay? And I'm, like, so confused because it sounded like there's just... like, this is normal. This is the human one here. But they made it sound like they only have one chromosome. So I'm like, did they have two and then one of them has maybe the Y tidbit on it? I mean, like, what is the real difference between, like, having a Y chromosome or having an X chromosome with Y pieces on it? So then it made it sound like it only has, let's see. So they're saying... bull sexes in the mommy spiny rat now have only a single X chromosome. Okay, so does that mean that like how, I don't get how, I guess the offspring either randomly get one of the men's chromosome or the woman's chromosome. So there's no like mixing or anything. And I'm like, well, doesn't that mean they're clones? I'm just so confused on how stuff works in the current reality. But anyway, that was a big stink. Oh, there's no Y chromosome. And then they're like, well, you don't really need it. Now, I remember you do need a Y chromosome because it does certain things like that the males needed to have. Okay. But I guess now you don't gotta have it. And they were saying, oh, okay, these guys just, lost the Y chromosome over time. It just wasn't necessarily. Well, how do you just lose it, but then you get a piece of it on the X chromosome? Like, it just happens. So, I don't know. Like, that's not the evolutionary story I grew up with, that you needed both because it kept the species, the intermixing of the different genes, kept a variety of individuals so that those species was flexible due to changing environments and could adapt, blah, 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 blah. That's all gone now, I guess. And now that the story is, you don't really need that Y chromosome anyway. And so, let's see. Then this researcher, Kuro Iwa, concurs with her co-worker in her words, I absolutely agree with Jenny. I also believe the Y chromosome will disappear. Like, why would you think that? They're actually talking about humans here now and other species. They're like, oh, yeah, they're all gonna, the Y, you don't need those Y chromosomes. Like, why did they develop Y chromosomes? Why did all these animals develop Y chromosomes if you don't really need them and they're all gonna go away again? So, like, none of this sounds very science-y to me. So I was kind of looking that, and then I stumbled on this. So now we're going to talk about humans. You don't need your Y chromosome anymore. You don't need it. And even men, like human men, they just kind of lose their Y chromosome as they get older. So this is called mosaic loss of the Y chromosome in men's health. So they're saying that when you get old, you men, you just kind of, I'm like, where does it even go? But they're just saying you lose your Y chromosome. Like, does it just fall out and roll down the hall? I mean, like, where did it go? But somehow you guys can't keep track of your Y chromosomes. More than 40% of men over 70 years of age have common acquired chromosome alterations. And they call it amyloid, which is mosaic loss. Mosaic, meaning like patchy loss. Mosaic loss of the Y chromosome. So they're saying greater than 40% of men over 70 get mosaic loss of Y chromosome. You just can't find them. They're gone. In rare cases, amyloid also occurs in young men and fetuses. Amyloid has been associated with early death, cancers, and other disorders of elderly men. Infertility in reproductive age men. Well, yeah, you kind of need your Y chromosome for reproduction. Oh, maybe you don't. Maybe you just donate your X chromosome. Fertility in reproductive age men and developmental defects in children. So apparently, the Y chromosome, sorry guys, it kind of sounds like it's going away. Y chromosomes in men can be lost in every life stage. And Y chromosomal loss is associated with various health problems. Somatic cells in men always have a risk to lose their Y chromosome. It remains unknown whether the frequent Y chromosomal loss in elderly men results from recurrent mitotic chromosomal loss or clonal expansion of the 45X cell lineage. Okay, I don't really know what that means. Detection of amyloid in the blood. I've never even heard of this. Possible mechanisms. I mean, this just blows my mind. I don't know why, but apparently you guys cannot hold on to your Y chromosomes. Gosh, this is crazy town. So that's the latest. Just to start, for those who want to dig into the Black Goo and Falkland Island War, I seem to have completely missed out for the 2 interviews, documented story heard along in 2020 that goes back to the Falklands War. Reminder, in the spring of '82, the British establishment sent out a fleet, including nuclear submarines, to recapture a few sparse and largely uninhabited islands in the Atlantic between South America and Antarctica. You know, and that stuff's all probably in a different place now than it was back then. This had illegally occupied the Englishman's opinion a few weeks earlier in Argentina. The war ended after a few weeks with a glorious victory for the British Navy, like they're going to lose. What the public did not learn, the actual occasion in the prey is said to have an intelligent oil. Oh. Okay, so this is like on X-Files, basically, like that show, that episode. Okay. I don't think this is meant. I mean, like, is there any evidence of it? She was not directly in the Falkland Islands, but on one of the South Sandwich Islands, which lie in the same region. The island is named Morel. Another name is but Thule Iceland, a name that reminds us of another modern myth. Okay, so I don't know. I mean, like, there's not, like, we're not rolling in evidence here, but maybe we just need another 10 or 15 shifts for that. Deletion or insertion of X or Y chromosomes causes various problems. Intersex people included. I don't know, but they're basically saying that men now their Y chromosome falls away. Sounds like it's easy to fall away. Like, oops. Seems a little strange. How come this thing won't scroll? I've lost the scroll function here. I'm gonna just try, like, redoing it. Maybe if I do that. There we go. I think I fixed it. I probably should put it in live chat. What is our... I said the X stays there and the Y falls off. Yeah, they just, they just fall out onto the ground. I don't know. It's just like they don't say what happens to them. That's what gets me. It's like, what? Cynthia was created to clean up the Mexico Gulf oil spill, but it coincided with the mysterious flesh-eating illness. Oh, okay, yeah, that's the X-Files one I know. I don't know. I mean, like, so we have, like, storylines coming to life, right? So I wouldn't exactly be shocked if some kind of version of that very famous X-Files show did show up in the reality. Or then we'll find out, actually, that show was inspired by this true story, blah, 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 you know? The X takes information Y to create the being. So all the info on the planet is on the Y. I don't know. I don't know what's going on. I just don't see how these cells are dividing and dividing, and then for some weird reason, just the Y one, like, doesn't, like, happen, right? There's no real logic to that. I talked to Laura Eisenhower and Linda Moulton Howe today. I hope Linda is over her vaccine trust. I was watching her at the beginning of the pandemic. I'm like, no. I just can't. I can't listen now. She's all Mrs. Lockdown and all this, and I'm like, no. What the fuck? Yeah, I don't know what to say. I mean, it's definitely been... I really just... What works for me is to just kind of practice as much as I can thinking of a good future and everything good around me, and try not to spend much time on the negative. I mean, it's there, but once you see it's there, you don't have to keep, like, rolling in it. You don't have to keep wallowing in it. I'm like, okay, sucks over there in Israel and Palestine. Yes, but I don't have to keep, like, 3 times a day checking the latest news, because I can't do anything about that. I could vote against it. I could say it against it. I'm against it, but there's a limit. So if it's not going to do any good, then, don't put my attention on it too much. That kind of thing. And it does help a lot if you do that. At least I feel like it does. But there's a strange draw, that negativity, it's like you really have to make an effort, I do anyway, to not give it too much attention. But it does pay dividends, but it takes a considerable amount of effort not to get drawn into the arguments about nothings, stupid little arguments on social media. Just, like, think whatever you want. I'm not arguing with you. It does take a fair bunch of effort, but it does pay. But I feel like I, do have to constantly remind myself, but it does pay to do that. maybe they stopped duplicating. That doesn't make sense. Yeah, the Y chromosomes. I just don't see why, you know, they just wouldn't. So I guess they're just going to say it's not important. But then, oh, but if you've got illnesses and everything. So I have a feeling, though, that whole illness story is going to slide away. So a lot of this stuff kind of comes out in the beginning as, oh, this is an illness, a defect. But then as it normalizes, then you start to see articles like, oh, it turns out that maybe it's a good thing, you know, stuff like that. So you might have higher risk of cancer, but you have lower risk of heart attack or something. And then you find out it's only 3% anyway, so who cares? Something like that. So I wouldn't be shocked if that's how the storyline sneaks along. Okay, so we're done with Falklands. Spiny mice. Okay, so first then they were talking about the humans lost their humans, and I guess everybody, like their Y chromosome is not very stable. And then I stumbled on this one, and this didn't exactly shock me. This is all trying to find out the spiny mice stuff. African spiny mice can regrow lost skin. So they're regenerating. So we've got now mammals that can regenerate. African spiny mice can regrow complete suits of hair follicles, skin, sweat glands, fur, and even cartilage if it's torn away. So the story here is that they kind of have like this tear-away coat. So if animals bite them and then all the pieces come out in a big chunk and the animal runs off, and then they just regenerate it all like, woo! All right, so we've got now, I suspected this was coming. I think you remember I have said it, that we are going to have more regeneration. So now these mammals can do, so humans can do rib bones, right? That's been a while. We can do fingertips, which is kind of interesting because they're saying this is the first mammals observed regenerating tissue. And they're basically saying that there's no scar tissue. It just grows back like normal. But it does kind of seem like the human finger could already do this. So even like this article doesn't quite make sense with some of the stuff we've seen before. And this is a 2012 article. Okay, so I just thought that was interesting. Okay, we got that one. That one's gone. Rat without Y chromosomes. And this is the species Echimyidae. Neotropical, I don't know, neotropical spiny rats. And their fossil relatives. All right, so I got that one. All right, and that one was mine. Okay, so I'm not sure in this one, but I'm suspicious on this one. These are kind of smaller ones, but for those of you who watched the Toy Story, now no cheating and looking, but just out of memory, Woody, the character Woody, was he a cowboy or a sheriff? That is the question from my commenter on my channel, user-ZX8SI1ZY5E, who's been giving a lot of Mandelas lately. Sheriff or cowboy? Cowboy or sheriff? And while you guys play with that, I'm going to go to this unfinished obelisk in Egypt. Now, we've had this thing on a bunch of times, but every time I look at it, it's different. One of the things that it has been doing is getting bigger. I think it might still be getting bigger, but that is not image tab. Okay. They've got this. It looks different to me. I don't know how to describe it. I think before it was partially buried still. That was one. I don't remember this thing. And I don't remember this ladder steppy thing. This is the Aswan unfinished obelisk. And it actually looks, I thought it was more like reddish. It was a different color. Like, how come it's not the same color as the surrounding stuff? It just, the whole thing looks different. But then when I get close, there's some other things that I want to add on here. Boink. So last time I looked at, I'm seeing this showing up. If you watch alternate history, it's probably always been in their timeline, but for me it's new. There's these like weird scoopy marks now. Now for a while there was kind of like these bubbly punchy marks, but now we've got these lines of scoopings that and look at this crack going like this. This is not how I remember the crack going. And then this looks like an on purpose line here. So if it's just one obelisk, why does this look perfectly straight? And then there's this other, I don't remember this crack being like this. I don't remember these scoopy lines. You can see it on both sides. So okay, well maybe they use a different technique, but there's another image, I'll have to find it, that there's this scoops like in just some spots of this obelisk but not others. See if I can find that thing. I just don't remember any of the above existing. Okay, so that's actually a different one, but it's a pretty good example. This is all flat, like they're done. And then these scoops are lower than the surface of this. So that seems weird to me. And every time I see these scoops, they're like lower than the plane of levelness. That makes sense. If they were roughing it out and then they were going to smooth it, then it should be higher. And then when it gets smooth, it should come down a little. So I'm like confused on what's going on here. Let me see. Oh, here. Oh, okay. This is it. And I think it's supposed to be the end. See, I've never seen this view of it either. But look, again, it's like... So whatever they're doing... It's just, those are big gouges, okay? Like, I do stonework, and if you're doing hand picking, you would try to keep it really even. You wouldn't have like a big gouge and a little gouge and a big gouge and a little... So that whole thing just doesn't make sense. Now, if somehow they could melt the, you know, with some kind of geopolymer, they could melt it or something, and then it was all uneven because that was part of the melting process, and that was as good as you could get it. Okay, then it would make sense to me. But, it, you know, with the storyline that they somehow, like, hammered these out, it doesn't make sense. Now, the whole geopolymer, like, it's some kind of ancient cement thing is getting pretty popular. And I don't know what to say on that, because this one kind of doesn't look like it as much, but there is a lot of interesting evidence for it in some of the other locations. And there's definitely some spots where it looks like it's really clearly geopolymer. So maybe they, you know, this is geopolymer and they made it in this hole so that, you know, they could, you know, like, it'd be like a big vat that you would pour your cement into and shape it. And maybe these little scoopy things were like the side, you know, the side shapes that they would just yank out at the end, but then it cracked. So yeah, it doesn't totally... One of the things that's interesting though, okay, is this supposed to be, like, this doesn't look like this anymore so much. Like, this looks like they're right next to each other. And that's why I was saying this color doesn't match that color. So it's looking a little, I don't know, to me. All right, now this one's interesting. So I guess that's the underneath. That does give more of a look of like it was carved out, but still these weird scoopy things. I don't know. It seems like every timeline the finished look is different. All right, what am I doing here? I don't know. When did Katy Perry marry Orlando Bloom? I really don't keep up with that stuff. I heard about that, I don't know, like a year ago. But I just heard that they were already married. I don't even know when it happened. All right, let's see. We're talking about Woody. Oh, okay. Don't buy Bragg's AC. What is that? That's the, it's sold to Katy Perry and her husband, and it's using appeal from Bill Gates. Bragg's, so appeal is a stuff that they put on the outside of fruits to preserve them. So I don't think they would put that on anything that goes into a liquid, because it's to preserve the outside of whole fruits. Unless, so I, like, if you brought like Bragg's liquid aminos, there's no fruits in there. So I'm not sure, unless you're talking about something else. Okay. The side was not there before, and the digging is deeper. Yeah, it didn't look like a coffin before. I don't remember this. I don't remember those scoopies. So before, it was sort of like they dug it out, and you didn't see like these walls like that. I agree with that. Alright, so we have, let's see, Woody was a cowboy, but now you ask him about having a sheriff badge in the ad for the second Toy Story. Yeah, so that's my kind of thing is, I remember one way, but then lately it's been another way. So this shift I don't think is new. He was a sheriff and the female doll was his deputy. Apple cider vinegar. Okay, so yeah, apple cider vinegar, I don't think that they would use appeal in that. It's kind of a little bit pricey, so they probably just freeze the whatever they're going to use. Like apples. They would just freeze them. Okay, so yeah, Woody is now a sheriff. I do remember, and I don't think they like changed it. It's just always been that way. You know, when I think about this, we did have that the outfit had changed. And I didn't quite catch, like, people don't remember this weird, like, this coloration and the cow stuff. And, like, it's funny because this is more, like, cowboy-ish, but he is now a sheriff. And I'm thinking that last time was, like, a while ago when we had the outfit colors change that I probably missed the little star that is on there that he's a sheriff. I don't think he was a sheriff for some of us, at least. But you can see now, the badge is on there. There's the badge. So, yeah, probably. You know, I don't remember there being spurs either. Those boots look pretty different. I don't know, spurs always stick in my head because I just feel like they're... I mean, I just can't imagine sticking a sharp thing in the side of a horse's body. And their spurs are not real popular anymore for that reason. If you train them properly, then you don't have to poke them in the side with a sharp item. So, I don't think he had the spurs. I always see the spurs and I go, don't poke that poor horsey. So, that's another thing. Yeah, see, he has the spurs on here. Yeah, I don't think those spurs. They were those... You know those corny cowboy boots? That's what he had. These actually look like almost like mucklucks with spurs or something. I think they've definitely changed. Look at that. That's not even like a... What the hell? They're like the world's stupidest looking cowboy boots. They almost look like they're half rubber boots. So he used to have the corny, classic cowboy boots. I don't know what this business is. I don't think that... What is this? This is weird. Those are like girl boots, too. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know what's going on, but... Okay, so yeah, he's a sheriff. I think he was a cowboy before, but now he's a sheriff. It's got a different flavor. You know, before he was this good old boy... But, you know, the sheriff is kind of the finger waggy arm of the law. It's just a little different flavor. Okay. Now, catch up with you. I noticed that celebrities get weird when surrounded by sycophants. It's a phony social life and bad for mental health. I do see that. I don't think it's an ego thing. Why do people try so hard to become famous? I mean, like, if you lived in LA, you know that half of LA is, like, hoping to be famous. And they think they're going to be happy if they become famous. Like me, I'm like, I could definitely use some of that money, but I don't really think that I'm going to be, like, super happy from it. Like, it's a convenience. You know, you can go on some trips, remodel the kitchen, but you're still going to be you. Your friends are still your friends. But if you have all those sycophants around, then I think part of it is you don't have to, like, try to be a good person anymore. And I guess some people just, they just stop doing it, you know? I mean, like, because if everybody's going to put up with all your crap, you don't have to, like, control any of your crap. Everybody's going to say you're great. I don't know. I think it's just, it's hard to stay balanced in that kind of environment. Then on the flip side, all those people that are being really nice to you, most of them are going to want something from you. They're going to want either approbation so that they can bask in the glory of this famous person, or they're going to want money, or they're going to want influence. I mean, there's a bunch of psychological and a bunch of financial reasons why the majority of them will be doing it. And so that's got to mess with you too, because, you know, like, if you don't have any money and you're a regular person and you get along with you have some friends, you know, assuming they're not asking for money from you or something all the time, you know, as soon as the relationship is balanced, then you can pretty much assume they like you for you, you know. But once you're rich and famous, anybody who meets you and is nice to you, you can't make that assumption anymore. And I think that has to be really hard. Okay, so other weird things. Yeah, you know, now that I'm doing this with the sheriff, I think that this probably changed back with the other outfit changes, and we missed it. Yeah, I kind of thought that this had, like, some kind of slight decoration on it before or something. It looked more done. It's, like, really rough. And this line is really bugging me here because it looks like cement sections now. And if you look at some of the alternate history people, like, look, that's a straight line. That's a straight. Oh, let me look at this a little bit more. See, there's a straight line here, a straight line here. What's the chances of it, like, breaking right there? No, it's broken over here. It's got a giant, I don't remember that being the crack. And this piece is, like, offset from here. Like, see, it goes straight up and then it jags over to the side and then it's like that. That does not make sense to me. They're calling it one obelisk, but I think that this has to be pieces. Like, maybe they were going to do 1, 2, 3 pieces out of this. And it broke here, and then this crack went through here or something. Because these are such straight line things. I don't remember them being there like that. Is there going to be any more to this? Of course, you can't get a decent view. This does not show the lines. That would be too convenient. Okay, so it's really smooth here, and then it gets bumpy there. I just can't figure out what's going on. Maybe we're between shifts, and that's why it doesn't make sense. There's, like, no images taken from the other end, so I can see those lines. Every last one of them is from this end, or the lines aren't visible. So that takes from the other end, but you can't see the lines. Something is fishy. Anyway, so there's an early view of it. There's the crack. Okay, so you kind of can see it. There looks like there's a straight line right through here. And then here again. Yeah, something's weird going on there. Let me see if I can. Okay, this is an interesting one because I don't remember this existing at all. And you can see it's at the base of the pyramid here. So it's the basalt floor on Giza Plateau. So I might have heard it and just assumed that they meant that, the rock on the bottom. But apparently the story now is that they added this or something. I've never seen this until Paul, one of the alternate history people, covered it a couple days ago. Okay. So it's totally flat here, and then it's just totally covered. So I don't get it. It's supposed to be basalt, which is like a stone that you'd have to carve. And then it's covering just the scrabble on the ground. So if you look over here, there's a bunch of little rocks and stuff here. And then supposedly this basalt was just cut to fit right over it and be like a perfect sandwich on top. Now, I just can't figure that you would just leave a bunch of tiny little rocks and then fit this to cover the rock that the mule might actually kick tomorrow and it won't fit no more. Wouldn't you just sweep up all the extra crap if you were going to do this? You wouldn't just leave a bunch of crap down there on the ground and then just... it doesn't make any sense at all to me. It doesn't. Unless this was some kind of geopolymer. And, I can't take credit for the invention of that idea, but, there's so much now. I never even seen this basalt floor. It looks crazy town. Let's see if I can find more. It was that easy to find, too. Oh, of course, now I don't find it. All right, let me just try Google because I don't know what it is, but Brave image search and Swish Cow's image search has continued to degrade. Can't find anything anywhere. Images. Okay, there's more images of it. Okay, so you can see here, this is just scrabbly junk. And then the basalt, this is nice. It's pretty flat on top here. Underneath is just crap. There's a side view of it. I have just never... Alright, here's a faraway view of it. So there's a blob. So where'd the rest of it go? I'm going to have to look into this more. I just saw it yesterday. You can see that it's not all the way around. So then that confuses me. So I don't know if this story is they stole it. There's not enough time to figure out what's going on anymore. Alright, there's another example of it. The basalt floor of Giza, smoking gun, evidence of lost ancient technology. Woo! Alright, anybody ever seen that before? Because I sure haven't. So yeah, kind of on the subject of influencers, I've definitely run into people that kind of their channel got really popular, and then they just got kind of weird, and they're like, they don't have to listen to anybody, and don't argue with them, and they'll just get rid of you, and you know, like, they had been patient and like kind of normal in the beginning, but then once their channel blew up, it was like, you know, they don't need you anymore or something. I don't know. I mean, to some extent, I do understand that you can't handhold as much when you've got a million listeners, but they just got this real attitude. And I mean, it's not everybody, but I think maybe it's just that people were holding back, and once they were powerful, then they didn't anymore. Something weird is going on with my eyesight. I need different glasses for reading, and sometimes I don't even need glasses. Well, that sounds like a good thing, though, right? So what about REM's song Man on the Moon? Did they only talk about one landing? I kind of listened to a few of them. I'm like, darn, it's just not the smoking gun, because it could be interpreted a couple ways. A wing thing headed this way? I don't know what that is. But yeah, you're right. The eclipses are a dime a dozen now. It's like, oh, another eclipse. I don't experiment, I partake. Well, that sounds like a good life attitude. Okay, so the basalt thing. Start deleting some stuff. Remains of the stone floor. Look at that thing. I have just never seen this. A floor made in basalt is one of the few things that remains in Cheops, Mortuary Temple. It's not Cheops anymore. Now we're at Cheops, apparently. Ever heard it? Cheops? Cheops is Cheops. It looks like, I don't know, it just looks like, you know, you were talking about the black goo. This looks like the black goo. It just starts. So, I wonder if this is going to get bigger. I mean, how many stones of, how many stones worth of the pyramid wide is it? It's like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. It's like 20, maybe 25 of the pyramid stones long right now. Vague guess. So let's just see if it stays that way. Of course, we're assuming that the pyramid stones won't change shape, and that's always a risk, but this is why I can't be one of those alternate history people, because the history won't stay still long enough for me. Like these, I don't know if he just learned about these, but you know, some of these guys have known about these for years, and I swear it wasn't even there before. Like, I couldn't do it because I'm like, stuff I cover will be gone, and then I will have not covered the new stuff because it just showed up for me, even though it's been there 100 years. So there it is. So yeah, the theory then on the alternate history peeps is the real simple solution for why they were too lazy to clean the floor and get up all that Scrabble is that they just poured that like cement on the top. And if they pour it in sections, and then they're like, yeah, who cares if there's some dirt on the ground? That would explain it. That would make a lot of sense. Let's see, what do we got? Oh, I managed to talk a long time. Just saw UFO 100 feet outside my window. Made machine sound. My dad's cats are turning 15-year-olds. It was his ghost inside a UFO flying. I don't know on that one. Just like the book The Invisible Rainbow states, it's all about worldwide illnesses, Spanish flu being caused by EMR and EMF. I kind of like that storyline just because I can see then if we go with that storyline, if that one takes hold, then we could get to a point where we can go, oh, humans are actually really healthy. We just need to change a few things about our technology and then we'll all be healthy. So it's a whole nother different storyline than we're weak, feeble humans and viruses are always kicking our butts. So that's why I'm like, okay, pick your storylines wisely. Pick ones where we have a good future. Or we at least could have a good future. I saw a video with Britney Spears. Looked like she was talking to an imaginary person. A video. I don't know. It's tough with her because they're always chopping up her videos and doing stuff to them to make her look crazy. And what I just kind of see is, you know, I haven't really seen evidence. She's obviously had a hard life and she's eccentric, but I haven't really, you know, seen her do anything super wacky. I mean, I remember before when she shaved her head and everybody's like, oh, she's crazy. And everybody shaves their head now and they're not crazy. So, you know, it was teen rebellion, typical bullshit, baloney, sorry. So I don't know. I'm just waiting to see what happens with her. And she got like, she was upset once at dinner. Oh, she's crazy. She danced kind of slutty. Oh, she's crazy. But like they all do that stuff. I mean, she grew up in that kind of environment. So I don't know. She got divorced from some guy who seems like a jerk too. Ah, she's crazy. Yeah, I don't know. It just seems like the normal mistakes that humans make. I went over to the Panama Canal, the new location. Seems like things are lining up. Okay, let's check out Panama Canal. I don't think we've looked at that in eons. It doesn't really tell me anything. Right here. Alright, so I'm assuming that this would be the canal. Okay. The first confusion I have is, what is all that? I remember like a canal, but now it's like half ocean inlet. I mean, of course, it makes sense to cut it where there's always an ocean inlet, but I don't remember all this. Alright, so people remember it going east-west, then it was north-south, but now it's sort of like northwest? For you, it's this way, I guess, but I mean, you're going to see this backwards, or you're going to see it inverted. You're going to see mirror image from what I'm seeing. So this end will be on the other end for you. Like, if it's to be right, you have to imagine it the reverse. That's the one problem with OBS Studios, is it inverts everything. Mirror images everything. I just don't remember this. This giant piece of inland. That's weird. I mean, I've looked at this before. Okay, so here's a faraway view. But then here it's this. Okay, so we need to find this piece on here. I would say, heck, man. This is actually confusing me. I don't remember that little nub either, actually. This little nub here. I don't know if you can even see that. Let me see if I can find a better one. Oh, I'm confused. There's an image of all that water. I don't remember any of that. It's crazy town. Whether the canal would have been easier to build in this timeline, because halfway through is that giant lake thing. No, I do remember they're saying there was kind of like a river going about halfway, but I just don't remember it being all like super fat like that. All right, there's there, so it's there. Okay, so it's here. All right, yeah, so it's definitely off. From you, it's off that way. There is a second Panama Canal. Okay. You know, that's one thing about the chat. I never know what I am going to read next on that chat. The new Panama Canal. One of the world's largest artificial lakes. All right, so that lake that was never there, are there saber rattlings that it got too low? Has the Panama Canal expansion changed anything? The long-delayed opening of the expanded Panama Canal. All right, so what do they mean by expanded? Because it already goes from one ocean to the other ocean. So is that like another channel? Is that what you're saying? All right, the project new locks on the both Atlantic and Pacific ends are wider. So, okay, they're fattening it then. A second larger lane of traffic, essentially doubling the canal's capacity. The original canal continues to operate, handling Panamax, meaning ships of the maximum length width, and smaller vessels. The Neo-Panamax size for the new lane is approximately blah, 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 has handled container ships that are nearly that size. So what, they just cut another one next to the first one, maybe? I'm a little bit confused. If they're saying the first one continues to operate, then it makes it sound like this is a whole separate one. Okay, interesting. I don't recognize the canal. I don't remember, you know, so way back in the beginning of the Mandela, a lot of people remember North America and South America and the canal going east-west. But then when South America from your direction went that way, and then everything got like bent, and so then the canal also bent, and then it was going like north-south. But now it looks like it's more like this. So but I don't remember all that lake in there. Three to 4 years ago, I read about the second Panama Canal and how it was bigger and more efficient than the first one. You know, I think I might have heard about it, but I just got the impression that they were kind of like improving the existing one. I didn't really get the feel they're cutting a whole new canal. And what's weird is even this article, it's so vague on like what it is. Okay, so you see this ship And now it looks like there's like 4 lanes in this one. So is that second lane, like lanes going one way, lanes going the other way, and then is this the lock? Because frankly, I just don't remember, like, this reminds me of like when you go to the amusement park and you're on a little boat and it's on a rails. That's not how I remember it operating at the canal. I just remember you sail down on your own power. So that's why I'm like, well, maybe that's the open closed areas. Panama second crossing. Okay, so yes, over here they are. That's how I remember it. But okay, so there's a second. Is that what they mean then? That there's like more lanes in the crossing areas? Because here is one canal. Second crossing open in the world's. The second crossing. Okay, this is bridges over. This is for here. This bridge over. I'm like totally confused even what this is now. The second Panama Canal. All right, let's try the new Panama Canal. Maybe it's different things in different timelines, and that's why it's all vague. See, here it just looks like there's one, and they just bop along. All right, what's here? Now there's 2 right there. Ships navigate the Panama Canal. I don't know. I can't find another channel. I don't see it there, so, you know, unless they cut, like, there. You know, they could cut another one like here. It kind of looks like one's already there. So if this lake thing expands, maybe they could cut a second one in there fairly easily. I think it goes like here. Does it go to that nub? Yeah, so it comes out at this horn right here, which is here. But it looks like they could add something in like over there fairly without as much suffering as you might otherwise assume, like right here. Yeah, I don't know. Maybe I'll just see if you guys have any updates. Yeah, ask him what's going on with that. Shari, you got like you have ears and friends all over the world doing stuff, so you're our global eyes and ears. I see changes in Florida where I live, and the outline of the U.S. is so foreign. Yes, absolutely, absolutely. Mexico is tucking under the U.S. Texas is sliding east. It's craziness. I mean, you just have to laugh because that is the easiest way to deal with it. It really is. The second canal was not connected to the first one. So, you know, it's so common now. I would not at all be surprised if they go, well, it's little known that there's a smaller canal. And they used to use that one, but then most people forgot about it when this bigger canal came. And then 3 years later, it's like, well, people are, you know, Americans are ignorant. And then they just don't realize there's 2 canals. Duh. They only care about the one they built. You know, that's just like how the storylines go. They just keep evolving. Maybe I'm writing it for them. I've seen the shtick now, the Mandela shtick. The timeline. Oh, God. The Mandela splaining. There's got to be like the... I'm going to have to come up a word for that. Like the baloney shtick that we're fed to excuse the fact that we did not know that something existed. Because it didn't exist before. But one of the common things is like, you're stupid. That's the insinuation. You didn't know because you're stupid. And it works because people are like, oh, yeah, I knew, you know. So like, don't let the Mandela or whatever it is pull the you're stupid thing on you. Okay, we got that. Griffin. Spiny Rats. Ooh, I only have one left. This one, let's see. Oh, the Aswan Obelisk, that was by Remy Rodriguez. So thank you for that. Appreciate it. She just was like, what the heck with the Obelisk? So apparently she hadn't seen it before. We're on like our third version of it, and she's just seeing it for the first time. I agree with you. It is a Mandela, a very, very shifty Mandela. Okay, so we have one left, and this one was by a user on Retcon, and it was a couple months ago, and it was user FFFAFFFGHJFSDD. I think that was it. So I think they made that, they just pounded their fingers on the keyboard until they had a username. Okay, so this person full of F's noticed the Tinman let's see if I can find something looked a little different. Let me see if I can find a really good image so you could see it. That one is not it. This one maybe will work. Need to make it big enough so you could see. Okay, so that's the Tinman. Now, we've kind of covered, and people don't remember the grabby thing. Man. Okay, then that nose hole showed up at some point. Let me see what other ones of these I can find. Very impressive how few images I can find when I want to. Okay, I'm going to get rid of all these Panama ones. Okay, there's, whoop, we do not want a copyright strike. We do not want a copyright strike. Hopefully I caught that soon enough. Okay, so there we are. Does this Tinman seem different from the last bunch of times? So this is the kind of the one I grew up with. This is the movie I remember more. But it looks like the issue that I am looking at. There's a nice view of them. I swear every time I look at the Tinman, there's like a whole nother look going on with this one too. Like, people are like, oh, there's been no new Mandelas. Well, it's been like reprisals of the old Mandelas over and over and over. That one has it. They all have it. Even the toys have it. Some of them, it's a little harder to see, but there's a toy, like a costume, and that also has it. The specific thing that this person, the user with lots of F's. All right, here's, I think this was one of the originals. I can't quite make it big enough that you could see that it is in there. Here we go. Rare images. This one is very useful. I think that this is Oscar Honor Classic Historic Vintage Pics. So that one has it. And I'm pretty sure that one was from the movie. See, the thing with these videos is if she may be, if she's talking to somebody with Brittany and you see her and she doesn't, I mean, there could be like 10 people off, just out of camera range. So it's hard to say if she was really talking to like nobody or she just. Where are the U.S. pyramids? We're due for some. Well, we have those ones in South America. Yeah, when do we get our pyramids? You know, we've got those Mexican ones, and they're sneaking larger. So that might be it. They start as little seeds, and then they just get bigger. Biggest pyramid in USA. Cahokia Mound. Memphis. All right, pyramids. All right, we don't want new pyramids. Biggest ancient pyramid. It's not looking good, though. Cahokia and the largest pyramid. Largest pyramid in North America. So I guess it's Cahokia. This is kind of interesting, though, because it does look like it was a mound for me originally, Cahokia, and now it's got like 2 levels, and it's looking kind of pyramid-y. So there's like a flat and then another flat. So it's like a baby pyramid now. So Eastern North American platform mounds. So now the story is that what they just build them one on top of the other, an image of a diagram showing the interior structure that makes up the platform mounds. We're not getting pyramids, we're getting platform mounds that look pyramidical. All right. Still has a ways to go, but I suspect this is how we're getting them. Solomon's Temple in Sao Paulo. Let's see. Solomon's Temple. Sao Paulo. I think I forgot a U. Yeah, I did forget a U. Isn't it like, it looks new. So would they made a replica of it? Versus like that kind of awesome styling. Old Tartaria buildings. There's a building that looks like that in Balboa Park near here too. That's why they always say it looks Tartaria style. Balboa Park. Built in, I think, the 20s is the official story. And maybe a little earlier. Okay, Solomon's Temple in Sao Paulo. I don't know. All these things are showing up. So I guess that what they just built a replica of it? Why? There's a replica of the Temple of Solomon in Sao Paulo. The Temple of Solomon is a replica of the Temple of Solomon. Did an AI write that? The Temple of Solomon is a replica of the Temple of Solomon. AI is stupider every second. According to Brazilian press reports, the new temple is an exact replica of the ancient Temple of Solomon in Jerusalem. According to the church's leader, the outside is exactly the same as that which was built in Jerusalem, but with increased dimensions. Okay, well, it's not exactly then, is it now? The founder and leader of the Neo-Pentecostal church at the time of construction explained that we are preparing ourselves to build the temple in the same mold as Solomon's. Use tons of gold, pure gold. We're not going to build a temple of gold, but we'll spend tons of money without a shadow of a doubt. Temple is twice the height of Rio de Janeiro's Catholic-sponsored Christ the Redeemer. Inside the temple, there's a replica of the Ark of the Covenant, constructed according to biblical orientations. Where do people get all this money? Cost US $300 million. Took 4 years to build. Takes up an entire city block. The Brazil's Jewish community has generally accepted the temple with a bit of reluctance. Brazil, they do have the kind of their wacky side. Okay, so I don't know. Has anybody seen anything weird about our little buddy here? You know, it gets confusing because he changes out his stuff that he carries, like, every 5 seconds. So there was a gun, there's an axe. I'm like, how many things you gonna carry? I assume that the can is an oil can. I think I remember him having the oil can and the axe before, but not the gun. The wrench was new, but that's an older Mandela. Brasilia, yeah, that was weird. Fly My Pretties comes and goes and comes and goes. It's very shifty for me. Oh, Shari, you caught it. That was what he was looking at. Or FFF, whatever, that guy. I'm going to call him all he because I'm not adapted to the they pronoun very well. I don't think we were ever at Kansas to begin with. Yeah, what is the nature of Kansas? Who knew it would be so complicated? What is the metal thing going from ear to ear with holes in it on the ear to ear? Yeah, there's like bumps here too. You know, now I'm really looking at it. I don't remember those. Okay. You kind of have to wonder if this harkens back to the pandemic face mask. But basically, people do not remember this chin thing. So I just remember, like, he had a silver face. I mean, you didn't have to add that. It looks like it's a mask pulled down. So I also remember these bumps. But the thing is, like, okay, this is the one I remember with her. And the bumps are on there. There's this chin guard thing. Frankenstein monster style. And frankly, I don't remember this guy's face. Like, I don't remember this big fat face dude. I thought that Tinman was a thin guy. I don't remember him being, like, he looks husky. He looks sort of like a tank in this thing. I don't remember him being fat, like having a fat face. I remember having a much thinner face and like smaller eyebrows and stuff. So when I looked at him, I'm like, I mean, he looks like one of the Three Stooges with silver on or something. I'm like, that is not right. And then, like, I think this thing right here changed too. Like this, it looks like he's got this weird scarf of tin or something. So I'm just confused now. When I look, I can't find that thinner guy anywhere. He's like gone. But the chin mask is the one that FFF person was saying, what the heck. And several people did comment that they didn't remember it. So nobody said they remembered it. I don't remember him having these big eyebrows. And it looks like they put a bunch of, like, eyeshadow under there. I don't remember that. That nose hole got bigger. We have discussed that before, like the hole at the end of the nose. Something's weird here with this bow tie. I don't remember that. Well, I'm confused. We have a pyramid at Cal State Long Beach. New or old, though? So, yeah, Shari noticed it. And I think that other... Who's the other person? Curly is not bald. I remember a chin strap for a hat, but he does look chunky. That's a nice term. They started it out for chunky cats. Yeah, just like, I mean, he's probably not super fat under that outfit because it's gonna, but he's not like this, like beanpole, you know, more look. He just had a skinnier face. And some people have a fat face and a skinny body. It's just genetics, you know, but he definitely looks chunkier. I like that term. All right. Larry, Curly, and Mo. All right, now I got to look at Larry, Curly, and Mo. Larry, Curly, and Mo. I don't remember the spelling. Now they're going to all have hats on now. Wait a minute. Yeah, none of them are bald. This is what's wrong right here. His hair's good. Yeah, he had that hair. But he didn't have that hair. Carly and Mo. Which one? Okay. That's not right. I thought that was the... I'm confused. Yeah, that's it. I thought Curly was Curly because... Wait, this one... Wait, which one is Mo? I think that one is right. That one's definitely right. Or close. But this one... I don't remember, like... a military crew cut. They all were stupid looking. I mean, that was the point. They were he looks like he's in the military now. That's not right. You know, I think I saw this image a while ago. I don't think this is a new shift. Not new. But yeah, that does not look right. He looks normal. That's all wrong. Yeah, I agree. Something's happening. Somebody got hair. That one's close, but it looks like they just had a fresh shavings. You can still see it up there. I remember a chrome dome, though. I definitely remember a chrome dome. They're always changing. It'll make you crazy. I got like 1 minute left. I managed to talk that much. Okay. I've got everything covered. Woo! The Mandelas are never ending. I can't believe I once thought I would run out of Mandelas. It's like, oh, I'll just do this show until I run out of Mandelas. I don't think that's going to happen. All right, people. Thank you so much for coming. Think good thoughts, everybody. This is Eva signing off for Once Upon a Timeline.